Ah, come
Yeah,
on. Your mom
you get
mobile can
offline.
totally handle it.
You
And
can.
Roger's just, but before you go, Roger's like, what the fuck you mean the light system's off? He's like, dude, man, I was trying to fix it tonight. He's like, God damn it, I need those lights on right now. Like, you can't have a race in the fucking dark.
Uh,
That
uh,
sounds a little
Ma-
bit more like your kind of activity. You can totally replace some light bulbs, right?
yeah, like Meridine will go toward Roger and say, maybe I could fix them.
He goes, yeah, please. I need this thing up in a couple of hours.
Sure, just point me to the car.
Right, so Steve waves you over. You guys jump in a truck and you head off to the dried lake bed, which Steve explains has been converted to a racetrack. And
You
so,
can go ahead and go out there, and I'm gonna stay back here in case I need to hook anything up to say like some automatic system.
You're gonna like rig the race, like turret is going to pop up from the ground.
What, with a whole bunch of floodlights? Yeah, no,
Uh,
I don't think I'm gonna do anything like that. I more mean just make sure the computer can turn them on and off.
Alright, sure.
all right. So, long story short, after much hullabaloo, and obviously this is a festive moment right now because they're about to run a race. Within a couple of hours go by, and we open up the scene again down at the dry lake bed, it's about a few miles away from the front entrance. And sure enough, it's been converted to a makeshift racing. You see some really, really raggedy looking bleachers set up on one side, and there's even a pit stop right on one of the
That would
straightaways.
be
So
nice.
it's legit. Like Roger doesn't. Roger runs a legit
Oh, well,
track,
you gain a bit more of my respect.
right? And so yeah, you walk down. So basically, what happens is there's a primary control center. Steve had brought it down because he wanted to do some basic repairs on it, and he wasn't planning on there being a race this night. So essentially, he needs assistance setting it up. So you will have to do another jury rig check, and it will be at DC 20.
Oof.
Ugh.
Well, I guess I could use 5 luck.
Yeah, if you want to.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
how
So
do I regain my luck? Yeah.
every session you get your luck points back.
Okay, nice.
You can use them once per session, pretty much.
Oh yeah, nice. Okay.
So yeah, it was a bit tricky. Steve's not exactly the most formally trained of techies. He explains to you that, like he explained to Kitty, he's more about cars
Oh.
than or anything like that. But since he's one of the only guys who's all around well good, he's usually tasked to do everything.
Oh.
And so luckily between the two of you, what normally he said would have taken him a couple of days to get up and running, you guys patched all together, and with the flow of the switch and a bunch of sparks and ozone, the lights
Magic.
magically, the floodlights begin to cut on, and the field is illuminated. The dirt track of the racetrack begins to light up, and a crowd has started to form on the bleachers. You've discovered that they invite people from around the local areas, and they've all come over. This is basically like the local entertainment for the area.
Oh.
And yeah, there's like a concession stand, and people are selling food, and there's music playing, and people are drinking, and it's almost like a NASCAR kind of vibe. And 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 yeah, so as you finish all that, you wander over to the pit stop area, and you get to see the vehicle that the Roadrunners are running, and you also get to look at the vehicle that the Divine Wind is running. And so, Meridine, you notice the rollers have converted a police interceptor into a race car.
Oh, that's badass. Oh
So it's a serious piece of machinery. It is a
yeah.
no joke. It is a no joke car. But likewise, Roger himself does not have a half bad looking vehicle himself. He has a converted Max Interceptor. And Meridine, that the Max Interceptor has a higher top speed but a slower acceleration. Interceptor has a lower top speed but a faster acceleration. But other than that, and the Interceptor is more heavily armored than the Max Interceptor, and it weighs more. Kind of like one's nimble but weaker, and the other one is sturdier but a little slower. So they're kind of almost evenly matched.
Well, yeah, that's. Yeah, Mary Jane will look at the two in like she's playing with with her hand like it's gonna be a big show.
Oh, he's like, oh yeah, these divine winds, they may be kooky as Cocoa Puffs, but they know their way around a wrench. Roger says, and you can tell that Roger is like the pit leader for the crew, and he's got a bunch of guys that are running across the interceptor, their interceptor.
You mean Steve?
No, Steve's not there. Steve is
Okay.
Steve is with the pit crew doing what after he's done with you, he runs over and he starts doing the
Okay.
maintenance on the car. But Roger is like, I don't know if you know how NASCAR works. There's a guy who's on the radio who's actually the one directing everyone. He's like the crew chief, the pit crew boss. That's what Roger's position is. He's organizing and orchestrating the whole thing. And so
and
so yeah.
And who's the driver?
The driver's not here yet. And actually, once everything gets up and rolling, Roger was a little distracted, like setting up some things and doing something. And he looks over at the pit crew and he goes, "Hey, where the fuck is everybody?" And Meridine, you know a little bit about this. There's not enough guys. There aren't nearly enough guys that should be there, because you literally look over at the Divine Wind and they have at least like 3 or 4 other people working on their car. And Steve is just like, I don't know where they are. They're supposed to be here. And Roger's like, why don't you go find them? A fucking race. And so you see Steve jump out and he runs off into the side somewhere. And Roger looks at you. He goes, "You want to help me out with the car, sweetie, while we figure out where the fuck the driver is?"
Yeah, sure.
So Meriden, you walk over and you look at the vehicle. It's a hot rodded race car. It's got a driver interface. It has a computer. Does he have a computer system and a mechanical system? It's actually a fairly sophisticated piece of engineering. And but you also know that it's just operating at stock. There's nothing special about it. That you could possibly modify it and improve its performance.
Yeah, I'm gonna improve it.
All right. So there's 2 options. Do a jury rig check to double its acceleration, deceleration rate, or add a +1 to maneuverability, which is a stat that the car has. Kitty,
Hello.
do the car's CPU and do the same thing.
Okay. What kind of check am I making, and which choice? +1 to maneuverability, same kind of thing?
You have the option. Once you succeed, you can decide to either add 1 to maneuverability or to double the acceleration rate.
Okay. I like them fast, so I'll double acceleration.
So this is the car's internal CPU that you need to hack.
Right, so I'm basically rolling the same kind of infiltration check as above, then.
Yes, except this is the stat you're rolling on. That's 12. You're at 27 difficulty for the hacking.
I guess.
Okay, well, if I can roll better than 2.
Oh god.
All right. So within a few keystrokes and a little bit of hacking, you access the computer's higher function. And with the help of Meridine, who helps you control the systems or know where the systems are laid out, you gain access to, the fuel injection and the motor control and all that. And you now have the choice. You can either double the acceleration deceleration rate, or you can add a +1 to maneuverability.
Speed.
Yeah, while she do the speed, Meridine is going to try to improve the control, like drive abilities.
Yeah,
All
Maneuverability.
right, so that's a DC 20 check on your jury rig skill. Try as you might, unfortunately, most of the tricks that you could think of to fix the car, Katie pretty much circumvented with her coding skills. So there isn't any more to improve the car. So I'm going to give you guys the stat for the vehicle, so just so you know that it was a legit thing and I didn't just do it for flavor. Give me 1 second.
The 90s.
And so this is the stats for the Roadrunners, their vehicle.
I can't.
Name of the car, 180 is the top speed, 30 miles per hour, 80 miles per hour deceleration. Pass crew of 1, 15, it's its armor rating. So you can write that down, but I'll explain to you what that means later. And it's 2.4 tons. And so yeah, as you're going back and forth, Roger, he takes a look at you and he sees what you guys doing, and one of the guys comes over and tells him what you've done and goes, "Oh man, you really are good under the hood, sweetie. And I'm glad I have you guys on my team." Damn it, where the hell is Jonah? And so sure enough, like magic, Steve comes out and comes back in, and he's got a really, really nervous look on his face. And he kind of looks like he doesn't want to tell Roger something. And finally, Roger's like, well, "Out with it, man! What the fuck?" And he's like, I don't know what Jonah is." What? What the fuck you mean you don't know what Jonah is? He's the fucking race car driver. We need the fucking driver. Where is he? He goes, well, him and a couple of the guys went over to the next town and this morning, but ain't nobody heard from them since last night. You're telling me we're about to start a race with our star driver?
I can drive.
And they both snap and look at you, and he's just like, drive.
Yeah, I know how to drive. You can ask her. She went Kitty.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You should have seen Meridine driving when she was young. Real hot rod racer, She could do anything.
So you see Roger, he takes a real measuring look at you, Meridine, like he is literally weighing you out, like looking you up and down, and like critical eye that only someone who's experienced at racing would give. And he goes, and Steve's like, well, she did help me fix the lighting system. She's a fucking genius. Like, there's nobody else in the camp that could probably even remotely handle the vehicle. And she's got a vehicle link. And obviously he can tell that you have a vehicle link. And he's just like, Caesar always knew how to recruit top talent. I guess I got to put all my all my eggs in your basket, sweetie. He goes, all right, for this, let's get everybody rolling.
Yes!
Kitty will just approach Meridine, going for a pre-race hug of oh yeah, do your best, and then whisper into her ear, "You better know what the fuck you're doing out there."
No worries. I'm gonna do my best. She said with a big smile.
And so with that, they give you a beaded, battered old racing helmet with some goggles.
Sure.
And an official Roadrunner racing outfit. Someone stitched the Roadrunner logo on the back of a pair of overalls. And they give you that too. And as you're climbing into the Interceptor, you glance over at the Divine Wind, and you see their star driver. He's he is almost like a male imitation of. You find out that the leader of the Holy Roller, whose name is Henrietta. Her name is Henrietta Holy Roller Ruchelou, and she is from Louisiana. And so, yeah, she's like full on televangelist true believer, Bible thumper. And so and apparently her protege is like a mirror image of her. He's wiry and he's got the same bug-eyed Jesus fever look on his face, and she's like giving him a blessing, like she's like holding his hand down in kind of like a faith healing, like Holy Ghost moment, like, dear Jesus, please extend your power to this young man so his wings can spread free and he can fly with the speed of the angels. In this, I beseech you, O Lord, in your infinite power. Amen. You see the entire crew go, amen, hallelujah. And you see the guy, he's like an almost near ecstatic as Henrietta's hand touches his forehead and he collapses down in like an ecstatic, I don't know if you've ever seen people caught the Holy Ghost, in those evangelical moments. And he just has that little moment where they have to like hold him up because he's like full of the spirit and he's like chanting and battling. And then after a few minutes, though, you notice though that someone comes by and kind of gives him a little shot of something, and which kind of snaps him out of his religious furor, and he kind of like they kind of guide him and get him into the car because he's still a little wonky from his experience. But then within a few minutes, he plugged you realize that he's probably plugged up his interface, and you hear the Interceptor's car roar into life with every bit of ferocity and power that that car has, Meridine.
Yeah, and Meridine's going to connect to the car that she have there.
So yeah, as you sit in, you're actually quite impressed. Roger is truly a racer. And this vehicle represents a fairly sophisticated racing machine. I mean, the outside is fairly, it is what it is, but you could tell that a lot of effort, a lot of care, a lot of attention has come into a lot of the parts that really matter in the car. The interface is race grade, like NASCAR level systems. Like you've worked on these kind of cars and you probably rode them around a few test tracks. This is the first time you ever had a chance to like strut your stuff.
She's going to be like a little girl on Christmas.
Yeah, you feel like it's Christmas and you just got your gift.
And she's going to connect herself and she's going to stretch a little, then put her hand on on the.
Well, you could describe whatever racing cars of the future operate like. Whether you don't even have a steering wheel anymore. I don't even know. But anyway, as you punch up the systems and the car comes to life and the engine roars, it's just as loud and just as impressive as Wind's Interceptor. And you feel that thrumming vibration that only pure power show. And funny enough, as the computer systems come on the dashboard, like right before the display comes on, you literally see like a little Roadrunner cartoon, like the little Roadrunner goes beep, beep, and he sticks his tongue out and he does the little Roadrunner like dash off the screen, and then you see the Wile E. Coyote like lumbering along after him. It's very adorable. And so yeah, and then you see and just in a suspicion, you see the little horn button and you press it, and sure enough, you hear meep meep. That's like the Roadrunner. And with that sound, you hear some of the crowd members roar out, some of the audience crowd members just roar out like Roadrunners. And so yes, and so the race will begin. It's going to be a very simple affair because I read the racing rules and it was like ridiculous because I'd have to calculate like how many meters per round and all this other nonsense. And I was like, no, we're not doing it that way. We're going to do it simple. So it's a simple race. It's going to be one lap. Race will compose of 8 rounds, which basically just signify which portion of the map. It's an oval track, if you imagine it. So each corner that turns is 1 round, and each straightaway is 1 round.
Sure.
Here, I made it super easy. odd rounds are straightaways.
Yeah.
So if it's an even round, you're on a turn. If you're on an odd round, you're in a straightaway. That way you can understand like what maneuvers you can do.
Okay.
Weapons are allowed. You can't shoot at each other. However, you are allowed. It's Roger explains that it's he loved the yellow line rules. So you are allowed to force the car your opponent off the road. You are allowed to ram and bump into each other.
Yeah, knowing the durability of the card that I have, it's unlikely that I'm gonna do that.
That's true, but remember that option is free, and you
I
do
know.
know that interceptor is built.
Yeah,
for ramming into things.
that's what I need to worry about.
Right. So, yep. So the first thing we're going to do, as the two drivers come onto the race line, which will start on the straightaway because round one is odd, and you wheel up. They wheel you up to the starting line. You look over across, as in the classic racing montage moment, as the racers line up. They look at each other, and normally a lot of the guys look at each other or try to shit talk to each other or insult each other. And as you look over and you're prepared to see what kind of exchange you're going to have, you notice that the other driver, he's not looking at you. He still has the same crazed Jesus look on his eye, and he is just in front of him. And it's like scary, almost off-putting how detached he is and just how ramrod still he is on the driver's seat. Like he can't see anything but the road in front of him. So so as you look over, you get the classic streetcar racer start. A very beautiful and scantily clad woman walks up in front of you, between the two of you. She has a bright red scarf, and she walks up between the two cars, and you hear an announcement, and starting this race this evening, we're having a straightaway, a one-match lineup between the Divine Wind and the Roadrunners. In the Divine Wind, we have Peter, the Divine Prophet of the Divine Wind. And you hear what is essentially like a religious chant, as I guess what they used to cheer him on for. And he goes, and in the other camp, we have a new driver today for the Roadrunners, Maridine. And then you hear like, "Yay, Maridine!" And so in your as you're hearing all this, you see Maridine, you see your intercom speak up, and you hear the voice of Roger. He goes, "Hey, darling, you hear me right now?" He goes, "How you feeling right now?"
Excited.
All right. He goes, "This is gonna be real simple." He goes, "Peter over there, he's a real good driver. Just don't get too close to him, and then he gets the wrath of God, tries to run you off the road."
Yeah, I know that the kind of card that he has, he have more durability. I'm gonna try to stay away from him.
Good plan. I'll let you know if there's anything you need to be doing. He goes, "This should be simple and easy. These guys, they're not real racers."
No. I hope I'm a real racer.
So yeah. So that being said, we're gonna start with
Driver wrong.
And so, shit, you know what? I rolled these stats, and the one thing. How do you calculate initiative?
To combat, I think the initiative is based on your reflex.
Reflex? Just reflex. 1d10 plus reflex is initiative.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I have this NPC generator and just didn't bother to give me.
Okay, so I roll initiative too.
Yes, you sure do. Hold on a second. Let me put some tokens on the board so that you guys can.
Too late. I did it then.
It's fine. It's okay. Oh shit. And I'll just do this guy for him.
I don't have access to my token.
Really? Oh wait, are you?
Okay.
Oh, that's because I'm on the map later. My bad. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. My apologies.
No worries.
Slight technical malfunction here. Delete. Here. Now here we go. Meridine. Give it a shot. See if you can control your token.
Okay. I mean, I'm gonna change it when you're going to put out the turner. So yeah, so normal, yeah.
All right, so let me just delete everything first before I start adding turns for everybody. This guy already got a turn.
You just deleted me.
I'm gonna add another turn for you. All right, so just add your initiative there. All right, you got a 10, and mine is 1d10 plus 6. He rolls a 15, so he goes first.
Sure.
All right, so that being said, as the racers line up and as the woman stands up in front of you, she raises her hand up. And as soon as she waves her hands down, you hear a voice say, "And start." Due to the initiative, your opponent gets a first crack.
Yeah, but his speed is slower, but a faster acceleration.
Right.
I guess.
So. Oh, you know what? I rolled this wrong. What's your vehicle operation skill? And
vehicle operation. You mean my driving?
Yeah, your driving skill and your combat sense.
My driving skill is 8, and combat skill. Where's that?
Combat sense.
My combat sense is 0.
Okay, so add 8 to that initiative number.
Okay.
5. Okay, and I just have to add 5 to my number. So actually, oh no, nothing really changed because he's still.
Frozen.
It's supposed to be driving, combat sense, and reflex plus D10 for initiative.
Okay.
At least for the driving portion of it, that's how it's described in the rules.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's see here. All vehicle makes skill rolls to determine their actions.
I will have like trench on my like car, like doing the same thing as like the Mad Max guy, like pumping turbo into my motor.
Yeah, in the front of the car, Trench is strapped on as a hood on it. He's got a spring. There's a spring catapult launcher behind him, so they can shoot him on top of other cars.
Perfect.
So anyway, all right. So this works kind of weirdly. Even though generic NPC won the initiative order, driving happens in reverse initiative order. So Meridine, you actually get to go first.
Shit.
All right. So let me get into the driving rules. And data fortress. Reference book. Yeah. Okay, so this is how it works. A movement in vehicle, it will be a control roll. Plus driving, plus a D10.
Just write the roll that I need to do.
It's going to be your reflex stat, plus your driving skill, plus a D10. Modifiers, which for this there won't be many because you're basically on flat straightaway, but that's basically like if you had like rough terrain or bumps or some nonsense like that. So there won't be any of that. So there won't be too many modifiers. I know there's some other control this. I saw this somewhere else. Just give me 1 minute because I know there's a better reference sheet. System. Here we go. I found you. Okay, so what's what we got here? All right. Is 10. That's if you're driving on straight flat land. What do you want to do though?
Well, if I'm driving in a straight line, I want to have trying to get the advance like on him, trying to be ahead of him. Nothing much.
Okay. Let me see here. All right. So, right as fast as possible.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So that being said, let's get to here. I think I know what the calculation is. The top speed of the vehicle is. Right here.
Don't forget that we upgrade. Yeah.
So that won't be a factor in this one because you're going on a straightaway, and the acceleration rules really govern like if you crash into each other or you're trying to overtake each other.
Mm-hmm.
So this will be a straight speed. So your top speed's 80 according to the rules. At 50% of that is 90. Every 10 miles, every 10% above 50 is +1 to difficulty. That's 9. Your driving skill roll has to be a 9. You have to beat a 19.
Oh, there you go. Already roll a 19.
All right. So as you pull, as you instinctively operate, you hit the gear, you slam the gas, and you perfectly accelerate. Now he has to contest you. Same thing. He's going to accelerate at full speed and see if he can take the advantage. His tops. I'm gonna let you guys know what the hell's going on. I'm not rolling a bunch of stuff in the background. Not that it matters anyway, but that's the stats of the car, of the opponent's car, so you know. 70. Let's see, half of that is 85. We'll make that 8 points. So he's got to beat 18 to go to max speed.
Please, Fel, do a fumble, break the engine.
Let's see what happens with him. Let me just get over to the thug notes. Oh, all right, what do we got here? We got to do.
Well, like Trench is in a crowd with Kitty, like eating a hot dog.
Yeah, to what are you doing? Where are you? Are you in the crowd? Are you in the pit? Are you?
Woo, go Maradine! Where'd I get this foam finger from?
I don't know. I guess I'm probably just watching the guys.
All right. So he's got an 18. His driving skill. His reflex is that. Okay. And unfortunately, as fast as you are, Peter, his car is just a little bit faster this round, and he pulls up ahead of you as you enter the first turn. So then, yeah, once again, it goes back to you.
Well, what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna slow down a little, and I'm gonna go under. At turn, is it going to go to the right side or left side?
It's a left turn. We're going to start at the right side of the track. So the first turn goes to the left.
Okay, yeah. So she's going to stay on the left, and she's going to slow down a bit, keeping at close to the end circle for when she do her turn.
You're doing a hard turn.
No, not a hard turn. You know, like in NASCAR, when they go to a turn, like some slow down a bit, keeping keeping close to the line.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. You're doing like a 45-degree turn at speed.
Yeah.
All right. That's a difficulty 25.
25. Fuck. Yeah, no.
As you hit the first turn, you miscalculated something. You don't know what you did wrong, but you didn't quite make the turn. Let's see what happens. All right. Because you only did 5 above the fail, you don't take any bad damage. You slightly you slightly lose control of the vehicle, and if you were using weapons, you would get a disadvantage in firing. That doesn't apply to this. So yeah. With that, whatchamacallit, Peter. You guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. For some reason, it says RTC disconnected on Discord. I wanted to make sure everything was okay.
Okay.
So yeah. So as you exit the first turn and go into the second straightaway, Peter has pulled up ahead of you. So, actually, no. He needs to do his turn on a difficulty of, what did I say, 25,
5.
right? Didn't I say 25 or 20?
Yeah, 25.
25. 25. All right. So, he attempts to make the same turn. And yeah, just like you, he doesn't seem to quite grab it either. He did a lot worse than you did. He's at 10. So as you missed a turn, he misses the turn.
Yeah.
See what it says here. 2 vehicles crash into each other. He has to roll another driving check to see if he can regain loss. All right, so he needs to roll this again. And no. As you enter the first turn, you, Maradine, manage to recover the car, but Peter doesn't. And he slams the circuit, and you see a bunch of sparks rise up as the gain that he had made in the straightaway is quickly lost. And Maradine, you manage straightaway to overtake him again. and it is your turn again. You are on a straightaway.
Well, I'm gonna go as fast as possible then.
All right. Like I said, luckily for this one, you are on a straightaway, so the difficulty is a lot lower. And we're gonna say you lost a few points, but since you were already going near top, I'm gonna say this time around your difficulty will be 14. Boom! You finally hit your stride, and you actually, as you fumbled the first turn, and Roger's like, take it easy, darling. Like, just take, she's a bit, she's a bit powerful. You might. And then as soon as he says that, and you hit the straightaway, and he sees the other guy crash, and he sees you overtaking, and goes, "Oh, never mind. It seems like you actually know what the hell you're doing." And yeah, this was a brilliantly perfect maneuver out of the stumble from the turn. You managed to recover perfectly and accelerate. He's grinding the side of his car against the side of the wheel, and the crowd goes wild as the first turn erupts in such drama. It's his turn as he finally recovers from his slam. He too attempts, except now he is actually operating at half speed. So he'll have the full difficulty to regain his top speed and even to keep up with you. 18. Something happened. Maybe one of the body panels is rubbing up against the tires or something. But while he recovered from rubbing up against the wall, he is now firmly behind you, Maridine, as you enter the second turn. And it is now your turn again. I'm assuming you're just going to take another hard turn and try to
Yeah.
On a 25.
Please, baby. Oh, again, a 20.
20, but with a +5, all you do is slightly lose control and lose some speed. Once again, I'm going to say you lost half your speed from 50%. So that's where you're at right now.
Okay.
And so, so as you do that, Homeboy once again also hits the turn. He also rolls. Oh, he can't make it either. You guys are screaming at top speed and literally flying on the edge of control. And because of that, it's really hard to keep. And plus, it's a dirt track, not quite designed for that. You're basically running NASCAR stock cars on a dirt road.
Oh, wow, that's fun.
And so, yeah, he fumbles it again. He's at 7. He failed by 7 points. Lose out of control again, and he has to make another recovery roll.
Jesus, he's not lucky.
Which this time he actually finally hit. God finally spoke to him, and rather than slamming into the wall or losing control of the vehicle, as soon as he loses control of the vehicle, he instantly recovers and gains. But unfortunately, due to the space advantage, he's still just behind you.
I guess we turned 2 time. I guess now we're on the final line to.
You're actually on the third. You're only in the third round. It's the second straightaway.
Oh. Okay.
At this point, you got one more turn, one more straightaway, and it's the finish line.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, same tactic. Yeah.
All right. This time you're lucky as you hit this. Well, you're not lucky. This is the easy part of the race. As you hit this part of the race, once again, you perfectly time your gear shifting and your acceleration, and your car shoots forward. And Peter is right on your tail, though, and so he also attempts to accelerate. Doesn't quite get it. Manages not to fail or lose control, but he cannot gain any more acceleration than he can't match your acceleration or exceed it. So even though he's still behind you, the gap has widened.
Okay.
And so you're entering the next turn. And there will be one more straightaway. Actually, there'll be one more straightaway, one more turn, and then you're at the finish line.
Yeah. I got the same
You enter the
tactic.
turn. Once
Yeah,
again,
you can do it, Meredith. Just stop rolling below 5, please.
Oh, fuck's sake.
once again, 25 roll. Still not quite there. You're not. Unfortunately, you're pretty sure if you took a few weeks training and learning how to ride this car specifically,
Yeah.
it would be a dream ride. But being that you only had a few minutes and a crash course, it's a miracle you're keeping up with the vehicle the way it is because it's like a hot rod. So
Oh.
it's still a testament to your ability to drive it,
Okay,
but
so
you're just not quite. You're not in tune with it yet. It's not syncing up quite yet. But luckily, you have just enough skill to keep a handle on the control, and you lose a little bit of speed. And now, once again, you and Peter are almost neck and neck as you enter the turn,
fuck's
and
sake.
he has to do the same roll, the same
Please make a
turn as you.
fumble.
Once again, he loses control. He doesn't lose control of the car yet. I have to check the roll. Actually, fuck yeah, he did. He's 10 under. So while you manage to keep control of the car, he completely loses control again. And you can see as you enter the turn, you guys are close enough. And once again, as you're making the turn, you look over and you've seen people racing. Some people have like ecstasy on their face. Some people are like, they have these crazy, but you have never seen.
Yeah,
this type of-
he is like stone face.
Yeah, he is like he's it's creepy. Like literally in the midst of all this action, it kind of makes your skin crawl.
Yeah.
No emotion on his face as he's losing control of the turn, but you can tell he's like praying. He's like chanting this prayer over and over again as he's losing this turn. And so he fails with a 10, makes it a crash. He has to. And so yeah, as he overdrifts and he fails to recover the car and once again slams into the wall coming in to the last straightaway. Pull ahead, Maradine, as you enter the next straightaway, and it is now your turn. In the rearview mirror, you can literally see the froth coming out of his mouth as obviously with the noise of everything you can't hear what he's saying, but you could tell that he is just like, God no. as you straight away.
Yeah, I'm gonna speed up. Yeah.
And then you're getting better at it. And sure enough, on this straightaway, you once again perfectly hit the gears and perfectly hit the acceleration, and your car leaps forward as the crowd roars again, and you hear the announcer, "Look at them go into the final stretch, and the Roadrunners is literally leaving them like Wile E. Coyote in the dust." And you hear the cheer from the crowd and all that, and so yeah, so that happens on your round. He, after slamming into the wall again and seeing the sparks, goes back up and tries to accelerate to catch up to you. And this time, he does hit it, but unfortunately, because you did it better than him, barely behind you now. As you enter the final turn and the finish
Please,
line. So,
baby,
Maradine,
don't do me like
you gotta
this.
roll again on the 25 as you enter this turn. You are literally oh my God! Finally, as you feel your interface finally sync up with the car's computer and everything fires together, you're in the zone. You see it stretch in front of you like tunnel vision, and you hit the turn perfectly in a perfect Tokyo style drift as you enter into the final straightaway, and the crowd roars in your display of driving prowess. And so Peter, in seeing that, does the same thing, and once again cannot manage to do it. He isn't managed to catch the turn, and this time he is once again, he didn't crash this time, but he loses control of the vehicle and takes a big loss back, and he has to. Maradine, you see something quickly, because as he loses control in the final turn, and tries to recover every mirror, that Peter is no longer concerned about the race. He has completely given in to his rage that God has denied him the pleasure of his victory. Control of the car and slams into the wall again. And you enter the final stretch. The finish line is right in front of you. Roll it. And finally, cheers you forward. Your car perfectly accelerates towards the finish line. And as Peter recovers, he unfortunately could not control of his vehicle and spins and skitters as the car literally rolls behind you through the finish line. And the crowd goes wild. And so, yes, within a couple of minutes, the pit crew comes over to you. Everyone's all happy. You see Henrietta literally frothing at the mouth, angry, yelling and screaming, and the rest of the guys are trying to like fix the car, and everyone's just like, yeah! And then you hear the announcement say, and an exciting finish, the newcomer has managed to overcome the Holy Rollers and establish herself as the dominant champion for the night. And the race is over. Have kept their rep as the badass racers in the region, and the Holy Rollers have to eat their hats in shame. God really wasn't with them that night.
The base race in the region, maybe it's a bit too much.
I mean, it ain't a big region and nobody knows what the hell goes on out here, so this doesn't really mean anything, but they're no bats. Everyone, they're happy. They don't care. Everyone's just happy. Happy as a pig. And she actually comes over and gives you a great big bear hug. And he's just like, sweetie, you pulled my ass out of a fire tonight. He goes, he's like, you're worth every bit the marker I pulled for Razor just alone with you guys. And with that, everyone's happy and there's a big celebration party. Maradine, at least from what you experienced, this is like coming back home again. It's almost like as if you're with your family again. This is like the life that you know and love. And these people are almost like a reflection of the family that you remember. And so as the scene ends, everyone's back in the main town hall, the main meeting area, which is essentially like the, basically like the common area. And they're just having a nomad party barbecue. There's dancing, there's singing, there's drinking. People are applauding, clapping their back and everything. We made a lot of people money tonight because the gambling was hot and heavy. And
she's gonna turn like bright red, like she doesn't know what to say or do.
Congratulations, Maradine. Kitty's just like gonna come up and like join the celebrations and have like multiple drinks.
So you're up in the seat of honor next to Roger. Like Roger is happier than a pig in shit. He's showing you off like you're his prime daughter. And sure enough, right in the middle of all this, there's a slight collide in the room as Henrietta walks in and stands in front of Roger, and the room gets quiet and Roger's just staring at her, and she's just like, one day God will strike you down for your sins. And then she just storms up and goes, that's okay. God already struck me down for my sins. I ain't got any further lower to go, sweetie. And everyone else starts laughing, and then they just continue to, to move on with their party. And with that, so that will end it with tonight, because honestly, we lost 2 people, and I was planning a combat scenario tonight, but being 2 people down, I don't feel right.
Well, I guess it's for the best. For no combat scenario, I guess it's for the best.
Well, we can dump the 2 solos and the fixer in on it next time, and Katie obviously is going to be in the background, like doing her hacking and probably telling Meridine to go fix stuff.
So I think this is a good time to leave it off. So whenever everybody finally comes back on Wednesday, we can conclude this part of it. Well, this part was concluded, but the next event can start.
Uh,
All right. Thank you all. I hope you guys all enjoyed it.
yeah, it
Yep.
was fun. Yeah, it was fun. I just wish like the two are still here, but thing happens. I just
Yeah,
hope
like I
that.
said, I had a little bit more planned out, at least to end the night on a little bit more of an action note. I mean, the race was exciting, but I really wanted to at least get you guys to shoot a little pew as well. But minus one solo and a fixer, it just kind of doesn't seem right, to do all that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Thank
catch you
you
next
all
time
very
then.
much. See you guys
Yeah.
next week on another exciting adventure of Cyberpunk.
Sure. See you guys next.